But I want to tell you guys one thing in particular. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter how old you are, how much money you have. Your image, your reputation, your personal brand is a tool. You know, we as men, we got to understand something. I can go into the numbers and get real granular and talk about women buy most men's clothes. A lot of guys, we don't understand that what you put on communicates to the world. We just look at it as clothes. And a lot of us are like, I ain't spending no money on no clothes. I'm not going to blow my money on no clothes. I'm not going to waste my money on no clothes. Why do I need to spend money on something that I'm going to throw away? All these other things, not realizing that, look, you know how it works. When someone is looking like they belong in that part or whatever role, you know, it's been said over and over and over again. Guys, your image is important. If you don't care about it, if you just getting by, then you don't get upset if you're not getting the outcomes you want. And a lot of times, guys don't want to hear that truth. We just don't. Think about what you're wearing, put a little thought into it, and stop acting like clothes and your image is just this disposable thing that no one's supposed to care about, or that you're special and the rules don't apply to you. Guys, a lot of guys don't want to hear that because it goes counter to what they believe. And if you don't think it is, go dress like a homeless person this weekend. Go waddle around in the mud and go dress like a homeless person and walk around this weekend and see how much differently you get treated. That seems extreme to some guys. You have to dress the part. You need to look like you're about business to have business happen, whether it's personal or professional. If you were going to go look for a defense attorney, you wouldn't hire someone that did not look the part. So rather than debate whether or not you think, let's get real, rather than debating whether or not you think it's right, you think it's fair, you think it's superficial, you think it's, selling out, whatever, just deal with the reality. The rules are there. You know it exists. And the guys I want to talk to are the ones that understand, look, your image is important. Use it as a tool to get what you want. It's not a waste of time. It's not a waste of money. You just have to manage your image and handle it correctly. And here's the thing. A lot of us weren't taught this. A lot of us were taught that dressing, especially if you came from the Bible Belt, you were taught that image is vanity, image is sinful, and we got all this cultural programming to overcome. So while other guys or other people realize, you know what, image is important and crucial, just as important as education and knowledge and everything else. It's the other part of the pie. I mean, it goes hand in hand. I'm trying to arm a lot of guys saying, you know what, quality is better than quantity. Fit is better than brand or fashion. None of this stuff is controversial. If you want to walk around sagging, dressing a stereotypical way or a way that doesn't really communicate who you are or what you're trying to accomplish, cool. But don't get upset with the outcomes. The outcomes are going to be the way they are. There are rules. The world works according to rules. You have it. Even the diehard people who say, it ain't me. I'm not like that. I'm better than. I'm more elevated in my thinking. Okay, well, go dress like a homeless person. Like I say, prove it to yourself. But overall, guys, understand this. The problem most guys have with image, and it's because we weren't taught, we don't understand it, and people in general, men in particular, things we don't understand or things that we don't know, we tend to shun them versus trying to understand them. Now, some people have a currency exchange mindset. We worry about the price tag versus what we're getting. So instead of asking me when I spend $150 for a basic t-shirt, that is a loaded question. You've already said it's a basic t-shirt and $150. Tell me what you're getting for $150. Tell me what the shirt is made out of. Tell me how does it fit and how does it fit into your image. O'Shea was talking about it. He bought a $60 pair of shoes that looked really nice and looked like the $400 pair of shoes, but then he wore them. And inside of 4 months, they're cracking, tearing up. And he's like, man, now I got to go out and replace it. Those cheap shoes are the most expensive thing you know. Instead of debating the cost, understand the point. But a lot of times, I'm just going to go in, dudes just want to be right. You just want to be right. You don't want to understand what's going on. But ultimately, it comes down to this. 7 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inside of 7 seconds of meeting or seeing someone, inside of 7 seconds, someone seeing you or meeting you for the first time, they make 11 different assumptions about you. Those assumptions stick. They will not change without a lot of effort and work. Everyone has an image. Use it to your advantage. Most people don't. Most people don't. And the people that do get the outcomes that go with it. The people that don't get the outcomes that go with that. The guys I'm trying to work with are the guys that don't realize how important their image is and then want to do something about it, then understand, man, just by making a tweak here or a tweak there, my outcomes are so much better. That's why when you go to a job interview, go out to a nightclub, whatever, the guy that comes in looking a certain way tends to get treated a certain way. You know who they are. You know, you go into a job interview, 10 candidates are lined up, then somebody comes in looking a certain way, you're like, dang, there's no way I can compete with that. Well, how do you know? You lost on the image battle. But if you go in being the best version of you, there's just no downside to that. And there's no counter argument to that. In general, men suffer from not knowing. A lot of times we don't know. Brothers in particular, we love to argue and start shit. I will say this directly to brothers. Honestly, the reality out there is I have gotten more doors open for me that have been traditionally closed based upon my appearance. I dress the way I dress for me. I have a brand. You have a brand. Everyone has a brand. What do people say about you when you leave the room? That is your brand. That is your image. That is your reputation. There's no two ways about it. Your question is it working for you or is it not? Is it getting you the outcomes you want? Is it not? Can it get you better outcomes? The people I want to work with are the people who understand they have a brand and they want to tweak it, or the ones that are waking up saying, man, I didn't know I had a brand, but how can I use it to make me better? You can see the woman of your dreams. If you aren't carrying yourself in a certain way, you're not going to even get to the point to where she can see what kind of great person you are. You're not going to get there. You can be eminently qualified for a position. You could have all the credentials and it could be your turn, but if you do not look the part, you're not going to even get an opportunity. You know that. And instead of being upset that that's the reality, accept it. Use it to your advantage. Men do that. Bottom line, whether you believe it or not, your image is crucial. It's important.